Let's see if it's going to do it now here. Well, I think we are on now. It says we're live. Okay. For you that have been waiting here about 10 minutes, sorry. A little technical issue again. I cleared it up. So hopefully you can see me now and so forth. That I can see myself on YouTube and I'm watching live too. Remember, if you have a question, use the chat feature there on my YouTube channel. Just use it and ask a question. I'm watching it live right now. So if you have a question, it'll come in. I will see it and I'll do my best to answer it. Remember on these live streams and so forth, on these question and answer times, I like to keep it focused on cruising in French Polynesia or the Cook Islands, places to stay for a pre or post cruise, and general questions about the islands. So let's keep it within those parameters, and I'll do my best to answer it. I've been to French Polynesia 35 times, so there's not much that you can ask me that I likely don't have an answer for again. So I'm going to go again this year. That was my promise to my better half, Zell. When I asked her to marry me, I said I would take her to French Polynesia every year, and I've kept my promise. That and I'd make her coffee every morning. So, anyhow, I'm looking to see if we have five live questions. So, if you got a question, use the chat feature right here on the YouTube channel. Let's give it a few minutes and see if there's any questions. Again, that is the focus on these once a month question and answer times right now. You know, I was doing it weekly, but there weren't that many people taking advantage of asking questions. So I decided I was going to sleep in a little bit more on Saturday mornings and just do it once a month. So hopefully you're going to take advantage of it now and we'll have questions. Nothing yet. Again, no new questions. I'm looking. Okay. And, but anyhow, let's give it a few minutes here. By the way, that beautiful picture you're seeing behind me there, that is on the island of Wahine. In the Society Islands, the beautiful Paul Gauguin sits in the background, the tender coming over to the tender drop-off location. Well, Haiti is one of those islands that really delivers. It's Polynesia in its purity. There's no big resorts. The people are genuine. It's a lovely, lush island. It's a often people they discount Wahine. Hang on, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Anyhow, they think they have to go out and in, you know, the Marquesas and the atolls or out to the Gambia or something to see a genuine Polynesia. And that's not true. Wahine is one of those islands in the Society Islands that is very accessible, that if you want to experience true Polynesia, it's a great place to go check out. Anyhow, no questions yet. Hopefully some of you are going to get brave here. And let me hit the reboot here again, just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Nope, no questions. Okay, there are people watching. I can see that. So anyhow, let's give it another 2 minutes. And nothing, I'll do a little presentation again and show you some beautiful pictures. Again, everything I typically show you in my live stream here or any of the videos you see there on my YouTube channel, because remember, there's quite a few there. Those are all taken by me and Zell over our years and years and years of traveling to French Polynesia. So again, this isn't something where I'm gleaning something off the internet and using it and so forth. No, we've been there. Those pictures were taken by us. So anyhow, any questions? No, not yet. Come on, people. Let's give me a shout out here. I can see people watching, and hopefully somebody's going to be brave enough to ask me a question. So let's give it another minute here, another minute, and then I'll go on to the presentation. But again, the focus point on Saturday mornings, my once a month show now, is really to answer your questions, give you the opportunity to ask an expert like myself about French Polynesia. So nothing yet. What else? What else do we want to do? Weather's starting to warm up. I'm excited about that. It'll be 78 degrees today and sunny, and about time to fire up the barbecue, which I probably will do today. So, anyhow, no, nothing yet. Come on, people. I'm waiting. This is your opportunity. I will be going to French Polynesia this year, this November, with a group, 25 of us so far. So, and I'll explain a little bit more on that here in a little bit. But again, I'm looking forward to it. That'll be the Society Islands and the Cook Islands, which is one of my favorite itineraries. 11 nights aboard the beautiful Paul Gauguin. No questions. Well, I guess we can get on with the presentation here. And of course, the presentation is going to tell you a little bit about my group cruises. One more thing I do want to say. A lot of people go, are you going to go, do you have anything this particular month or this particular month? Well, remember, I can't be in French Polynesia every month out of the year unless if I live there. And I can't do that. I still work for a living. But if my group dates do not work for you, I can still book you. I'm a travel advisor and I book you. And if it's not on one of my group dates, then I go ahead and do an FIT booking for you, but I give you a nice amount of onboard credit to spend. So there's an incentive. Not only do you have me to help you plan a beautiful trip of a lifetime and point you in all the right directions and give you all sorts of very detailed information. I have another page in blog where I give a lot of detailed information to the people that are going to be going with me on a future cruise. It doesn't matter if it's one of my group cruises or if you're going to do an individual cruise without one of my groups. You still get access to my very detailed information. So there's not only that reason, but I'm going to give you a nice amount of onboard credit. So there's an incentive. Either go with me with a group or do it FIT. Your price will typically always be better with one of my groups because obviously I negotiate those prices. In this case, like the one in November, it was about a year and a half ago that I negotiated my pricing. And right now my pricing are over 20% lower than most of the things you're going to see online. So great deals. Okay. Anyhow, I don't see any questions yet. So let's move forward with this. And again, as you can see, let me turn the chat thing off here. Boom. You don't need to see that. And we will move forward. Anyhow, that picture again that you're seeing right there is the beautiful Paul Gauguin, of course, on in Maury Bay on the island of Wahine. And that's where the first island we stop at on the group cruise coming up this November is the island of Wahine. And I really look forward to it and so forth. It's a wonderful island just to enjoy and so forth. Let's see here. This is on Wahine, my group. I take them. And again, when I do a lot of the private excursions I plan, these are not available from the ship. I plan them. You can take advantage of them if you want to, or you can do your own thing. I don't over micromanage, but I do offer a nice selection of proven private excursions I plan just for my group. Look at that beautiful water. Again, this is taken on Wahine. This is part of my group out there doing a very easy drift snorkel. I mean, easy, okay? And it's a nice way to start off the group cruise because it's an easy drift snorkel. And for you that have not done a lot of snorkeling, it's a great place just to get your feet wet and so forth. Then we also, this is on Wahine, we go to another place where there's some beautiful coral, beautiful fish to see. And again, everyone just always has a wonderful time. That island in the background right there, that's the island of Raiatea. Let's move forward here. And one thing we do is we do a big barbecue lunch on the island of Wahine with my vendor. Tables in the lagoon and a beautiful, nice lunch with including a basic bar, meaning beer, soda, some water, rum punch, and it's very good rum punch. So we get to do this right here on the lagoon while our feet are dangling in the water. This is, again, another angle there. Everyone's eating there. And you can see the makeshift bar and kitchen. And everyone's getting in line. By the way, that is me at the very end of the line. Always take care of all my people first. But again, beautiful setting here. Just lovely. They always have a little show. Usually there's some live entertainment and so forth. We have a wonderful time. Then we go to the island of Atutaki. which is in the Cook Islands. Atutaki is a gem, and it's just beautiful. The lagoon of Atutaki rivals the lagoon in Bora Bora, in my opinion. It doesn't have that beautiful Mount Otumano background, but the lagoon itself is just as stunning as Bora Bora. This is my group here heading. We just had a barbecue lunch, and we're getting ready to take off for One Foot Island. This is One Foot Island right here to the right. And here's my group running around and so forth. And it's just stunning. It's off the beaten track. This is where you can get your passport stamped on One Foot Island. By the way, right here, this area right here, One Foot Island and so forth, this is for you that are Survivor fans. This is where it was. They had it right here for the Cook Islands, Atutaki. A lot of the stuff was done right here on One Foot Island. So a little bit of history there for you Survivor buffs. And here we are getting ready to have a nice barbecue lunch. And my vendor takes good care of us, has everything ready to go. Lots of shade. If you want a banana, just go in the back right here and pull one off the side. And so it's a wonderful setting. My vendor owns the entire Motu here. And so most of the other vendors, especially for like the ones from the ship excursions, they go to another island where there may be a half a dozen vendors there all using the same kitchen. And let's just say if you are the last group getting there, there may not be a lot of food left. But with my vendor, we use his particular his Motu, and we're the only ones there. No other groups are going to bother us. It's all for us. There we go. The barbecue going, and we got fried bananas going over here, some mahi mahi chicken, taro chips, which are wonderful, and a ton of salads and so forth. And by the way, big thing here, yes, that is an outhouse in the background there, an actual outhouse, which is a big thing because a lot of the places you go in French Polynesia on excursion, there are no facilities. And so this is rather rustic still, but in fact, there really is a bathroom here on my vendor's Motu. Just as a little hint, make sure you bring some of your own toilet paper, just in case. I always do. And this is beautiful One Foot Island again. For you that have looked online for Atutaki in the lagoon, this is a very famous position here. This particular palm tree overhanging the lagoon. It's had its picture taken thousands and thousands of times. But look at that. Much different than, let's say, going to Hawaii. In French Polynesia and the Cooks, there are still places where you can have it very private. You can walk down the beach by yourself. And remember, Hawaii gets as many tourists in 10 days as French Polynesia gets an entire year. So it is a place to really savor. And when you go to French Polynesia, you're going to go, oh my gosh, I've been to Hawaii, but Hawaii is nothing like French Polynesia. You'll be spoiled. Then we go to Rarotonga. This is me and the missus at Wigmore's Waterfall on the island of Rarotonga. You can actually drive your car up pretty close to it here and then walk the rest of the way up. Hint, hint, make sure you bring some mosquito spray. On the way back from Rarotonga, heading back towards Bora Bora, the beautiful sunrises and sunsets. This is taken on deck 8 of the Paul Gauguin. Just beautiful. Love it. And let's see, move forward here. And then, of course, we arrive at Bora Bora. And yes, that is a real rainbow, not fixed up or anything like that. It was just the right time at the right place. Big old Mount Otumano there. This was actually taken from the Laguna Taha, and Bora Bora is 13 miles away, but it's that stunning. Look at the water here in French Polynesia. Look at the multi-hues of greens and blues and aquas. The Paul Gauguin sits back here in the background. Big old Mount Otumano there. Just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And this is the private beach on Bora Bora for people that are aboard the Paul Gauguin. And look at that backdrop. Big old Mount Otumano. For you that have a little age on them like me and used to go to a travel agency to get a brochure of French Polynesia, and you'd look at the front picture, and it'd always be something from this vantage point right here. This is the historic vantage point they used for all the brochures, part of the lagoon and the beach, and of course, big old Mount Otumano in the background. One advantage about coming with me on a group is I know all the captains aboard the ship, and they usually allow me to bring some of my group up that as we're going through a reef opening, we can actually be up there in the bridge. I know the ship often allows tours up to the bridge, but not when they're going through a reef opening. So it really is nice having the relationship I have with the captains to allow my group to come up there and experience going through the reef opening. You know, she has like right here, she has a cup of coffee. They always take good care of us. They have lattes up there and sweets and all sorts of things. They spoil us. And here's the Paul Gauguin as we're on the in Taha. This is the backside of Motu Mahana. The beautiful Paul Gauguin sitting there. Just lovely. Just lovely. Again, this is Motu Mahana on the island of Taha, which is the private Motu for the Paul Gauguin. And of course, there's always people there ready to greet us. These are part of the Gogons and Gauguin, and they are serenading us as the tender comes up here to the pier here and so forth, and they play the conch and the guitar and sing and dance, and it's lovely. And Motu Mahana is famous for their floating bar, and here is that famous floating bar. Yes, they actually walk around with this bar in the lagoon wherever you're at if you're in the water, and you can get a refill or a cold beer or whatever by simply asking for them to come on over, wave to them, and they'll come over and take care of you. Look at this. This is taken with my drone, and there's Motu Mahana. Look at that. Beautiful. Look at the coral in there. There is some fish and so forth. Maybe not the best snorkeling location, but the water is 85 degrees and warm. And yes, there are some fish and there coral and so forth. But look at the setup here for Motu Mahana. And again, a great barbecue lunch, the bar, everything's included, of course. Again, a little closer up here. This is where the barbecue is happening right here. And of course, over here, there's a bar setup back in there, but not lots of shade, and just a wonderful day to take it in and be catered to. And they do such a wonderful job. Look at that. And I do the drift snorkel on Taha when we're visiting Raiatea or if we're visiting Taha. And we can go right from the back of the ship in this case, and they'll take the vendor will take us over to about a 10-12 minute boat ride over to the drift snorkel on Taha. And yes, that is Mount Otumano in the backdrop right there. But look at the coral, look at the fish. And again, remember, these are all pictures I've taken myself. So beautiful. The drift snorkel is fabulous, just fabulous on the island of Taha. Here is the drift snorkel again, and look at the coral in there. And again, look at the backdrop. You know, about 12, 13 miles away is Mount Otumano on the island of Bora Bora. It doesn't get that more photogenic than most places in the world. This is one of the gems right here. And I know my group is out here because I'm flying my drone to get pictures of or video too of my group. And they're out there. I can see some heads back here and so forth. Just beautiful. And here they are, zipping around, going through the coral. The nice thing about this is you don't need to have to pedal hard or, swim hard or anything like that. It's a drift, and you just sort of kick back and let the current take you. You need to be able to steer yourself a little bit to make sure you don't run into a little bit of coral, but this is about as easy as it gets for some of the best snorkeling in all of French Polynesia. Then we go to Bora Bora, and this is at the Coral Gardens behind the Sofitel Motu. That's part of my group up there, right here, looking at Papa. He's 68 years old, going down to feed and touch the eel and so forth. And again, what a photogenic time and so forth. Beautiful. Look at the fish. Look at the coral. Everyone has a great time here at this particular coral garden. And of course, we do get in the water with the reef sharks and the the rays and so forth. And these we call them the puppies. And here's Papa again in the water, bringing one of them up so a person can kiss the puppy, as we would say. But it's safe. And by the way, for you, they're thinking, oh no, they got barbs, don't they? And generally, the answer is no. The local vendors here, because the puppies all come to the same place to get fed and get a little goodie and everything else. If they see a barb on one, they clip it. And so pretty much it's very, very safe. And, we're in 3.5 feet of water. And you can just pet the puppies, kiss the puppies. You don't want to feed the sharks, even though they're reef sharks and they're not going to bother you. You don't want to try to feed them. Don't put your hand in their mouth. And let's see. And here's the setting for our barbecue location here on Bora Bora with my vendor. Look at that. Look at the view we have from the position where we have our barbecue lunch here on Bora Bora. My vendor, we circumnavigate the entire lagoon of Bora Bora, so everywhere we go, the island, the backdrop of the mountain looks a little bit different. But we get spoiled by my vendor. Again, everything's included. Of course, a beautiful barbecue lunch, and I mean ribeye steaks, fish, chicken, mahi-mahi, poison cruel, salads, and again, a general bar for you to enjoy. Here's Papa again, entertaining us with his ukulele, and he plays it and sings it well. It's one of the highlights just to watch him play and sing. Look at him. Ah. And here's the Palgogan. The next island we go to is the island of Moorea. And yes, this is taken with my drone again. I love, again, Moorea because of the jagged peaks. Everywhere, jagged peaks. It's a stunning island. You know, Bora Bora, it's all about the lagoon. On Moorea, it's all about the island because it's a rugged terrain, the topography, and it's just stunning. Here I am at one of my favorite places to go get a beer when I'm on Moorea, and I go up there, $4 beer. Nope, you're not going to have to go pay $15, $20 like you do at a resort. $4 beer, and I'll tell you where you can go and enjoy it and so forth like that. What a great position too to take a picture of the ship while you're enjoying, Hainano beer. And of course, up at the Belvedere, and there's Zell and I. Yes, this was taken with my drone. You notice no other people around. There was a lot of people there, but they're all up there at the Belvedere site where they all stand up there at a little ledge and everything else. But when I use my drone, of course, I can just get us with all the other people in the picture and so forth. You got Cook's Bay here. You got Otumano Bay here. Look at that, just stunning up there. Again, this is taken from the Belvedere on the island of Moorea. And as we're leaving Moorea, look at the stunning peaks again and so forth. And it's just stunning and beautiful, and you're enjoying it. But also in the back of your mind, you're reminding yourself, oh my gosh, next island is Tahiti, where we're going to have to get off the ship. But by this time, more than half the people are already planning their next trip to French Polynesia. And by the way, that was true of my groups. I would say half the people that go with me in my groups, they've gone with me before, and they come back. They get the Tahitian flu. No cure for it, but you can postpone the symptoms by return trips to French Polynesia. But they come with me because they know I have everything planned well, and there's no surprises, no hiccups. Everything goes, pretty much as planned and so forth. So they come back with me. So again, if you come with me and you never come with me before, you'll find that a great number of people in the group have gone with me before. They had a great time. They know I do a great job, and they know I know the islands. This is my group from that particular cruise. This was a couple of years ago here, and look at that. Nice, happy group. We all had a wonderful time, all got our champagnes or whatever like that. And this is taken in the bay there in Moorea. Look at that. What a fun group that was, too. We always have fun, but my groups typically are, 20 to 30 people is pretty much the majority of the time. That's the size of the group. And by the way, I do have room still. This is in November of this year. It'll be over Thanksgiving. So for you that go, I don't want to deal with family this year, this is a wonderful way to go because you are going to enjoy the fabulous Cook Islands and the Society Islands of French Polynesia. And they do have a big turkey dinner on Thanksgiving night on the Thursday and so forth. But again, you don't have to deal with the relatives. Come along with us. And here's the page one of the flyer. This is November 21st of this year. 11 nights on the beautiful Paul Gauguin. And of course, everything is right here. The itinerary, what's included and so forth. You notice my starting price. Now go look at it online and you're going to find out this is one great deal. On top of that, I give back some onboard credit and so forth. So if you feel you want to experience something you never have, come along with us. You're going to befriend French Polynesia and embrace the lovely people of Polynesia. Page 2 is right there. This is all the private excursions I plan for my group. You can take advantage of it if you want to. You don't have to. Again, I don't over micromanage or anything like that. But I plan some of the best private excursions for my group. So anyhow, that is coming for November of this year. And again, 11 nights on the beautiful Paul Gauguin. I still see no questions, but if you had a question, I'm looking over here, okay? So if you got a question, please do ask, and I'll try to answer it and so forth. So let's close down this one, and let's go to this one here. Open up, and open that up. And this is, again, for May of next year in French Polynesia on the beautiful Paul Gauguin. And this is my group here of that particular year. We call it cruising on the big canoe. And we had a wonderful time there. There's my beautiful Zell right there. And again, we're in the lagoon of Wahine on the big canoe. And again, here's that easy drift snorkel again. Look at, there's my group in here. Just having a wonderful time. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Easy drift snorkel. And then we go to a private beach in Wahine here. And you can see us over here. And we have some snacks sometimes and so forth. Either we do the full day, and that includes the barbecue on my vendor's Motu, or if we do the shorter version, which we do sometimes. In this particular case, we're going to do the longer version. But we will stop here at Hana Iti. We usually do. And there's that snorkeling again with Raiatea in the background. Everyone just had a wonderful time here. Beautiful. And another thing we do on this particular one, we go to Raiatea. And Raiatea, my vendor there, we circumnavigate the entire island of Taha. And there's several different drift snorkel locations and places where we can just feed the fish. This is my group there. Of course, I'm in the background here and so forth. But look at the fish here coming up, and you're hand feeding the fish. What a wonderful time. Look at that. Did she look like she's having a ball? Well, lovely, lovely, lovely. Feeding the fish. Look at the coral. Beautiful place. This is at the first drift snorkel location we go to on Taha. Look at that. By the way, for you that are a little more seasoned or senior than like myself, this gentleman right here, 76 years old, having a ball. So come along. Look at that. Look at the live coral here and so forth and all the colorful fish. What a wonderful time. What a wonderful location. And again, come along with us to experience this. Easy smeezy. Nothing like having a water scooter. This is a father and son, and he's taking his son around looking at the coral and the fish. Lovely. This is the place where we have a barbecue lunch. Look at that. My vendor's private Motu again. Beautiful. Beautiful. This was our boat right here. What, like a brand new boat. Beautiful. And of course, look at the fish again here. This is at the second drift snorkel, which is the one most people go to on Taha. Look at the fish. Look at the coral. Beautiful. Look at that. The coral. And he's waiting for his handout. Look at the setting again. Beautiful. And the same location here. Here's my group right here. They're out there snorkeling. And again, Mount Otumano in the background. Look at the setting. Gorgeous. Whoop, hang on here. That it gets to be a little long there. I'll just go to the next picture. And here's my group again, part of my group as we are getting off the boat. You can see here's the Paul Gauguin right here. Here's my vendor's boat. It's that close for us. You know, 100-yard walk and you're at my vendor's boat. And again, from there, Motu Mahana, and again, the people taking care of us and so forth, the Gogans and the Gauguins. And of course, you've seen that picture already, the private beach there for the Paul Gauguin on the island of Bora Bora. Motu Mahana, again, look at that. I'm ready for some of that. There's the barbecue on Motu Mahana. There's some of the crew from the Paul Gauguin taking good care of us. A little bit of everything. They got steak there, chicken, fish, burgers, hot dogs, sausages, everything. And of course, you can get your fufu drink in a coconut, of course. Look at that. Take some of that. Beautiful. And out playing again at Motu Mahana, the group and so forth. Lovely. And of course, you've seen that picture already, taken from the Laguna Taha. On Bora Bora, you can go up to the cannons. Remember, we're on Bora Bora for 2 days. So one day I do a excursion for my group, and the other day everyone can do what they want. A lot of them go up on a four-wheel drive and go up to the cannons and look at the view again. The beautiful Paul Gauguin ship in the background. And of course, playing with the puppies on Bora Bora. This is my vendor's son. It's a Polynesian family, and they're all related, and they just spoil us and take such good care of us and so forth. Look at her face. A lot of times, looking at the expressions on their faces, so much fun just to watch. And this is our location where we do our barbecue again on Bora Bora. And we got lots of shade and everything else. The group just has a fantastic time here on having our barbecue on the island of Bora Bora. And of course, this is taken at the Coral Gardens again. And this is George the eel. I call him George the eel. Just don't try to feed him. Look at those chompers. They won't bother you if you don't bother them. And here's another one again, playing with the puppies. Look at the expression on her face. It's just so much fun. And of course, my vendors are there taking your camera and taking pictures for you. The group's cruising along here on our vendor boat with beautiful Mount Otumano in the background on the island of Bora Bora. There's that vantage point again that we do our barbecue. And look at Mount Otumano in the background. Beautiful, beautiful. There's there's Papa again feeding George the eel there. And of course, again, part of my group here in the background watching. And then we go to also Fakarava, and my vendor, we take us to a beach here, and we have a beautiful barbecue. And look at that. Is that stunning or not? Just beautiful coral out here to play. We usually do our beach barbecue somewhere right in here. Beautiful. Look at that. This is again where right in front of where we do the barbecue. In the background, way here, about 4 miles away, is the Paul Gauguin. Look at that. Just beautiful. Doesn't get much better than this. Off the beaten track, as we say. And then we go to Rangiroa. In Rangiroa, my vendor, I have her boats. And in this case, this year, we're going to go do something a little bit different. I usually take people to the Green Lagoon and have a wonderful day and a barbecue. In this case, we're going to go out to the Blue Lagoon of Rangiroa. And it's about an hour boat ride, but she has a beautiful boat. It has a nice V-hull, so it's rather smooth for being in the lagoon, lots of shade, and we go out to the Blue Lagoon. Here's the Blue Lagoon. Look at that. We usually come right over here. In this Motu right here, we have another beautiful barbecue, and you can walk around and see the Blue Lagoon, and it's just absolutely stunning. Beautiful. Here's the beach, and I'm sorry the picture is so small. It's a little hard for, I can do this. I can make this a little bit bigger, I think. No, I can't. Little difficult here. Let me move my other screen here. Let's see if I can make that a little bit bigger for you to enjoy. This is where we actually do our barbecue right here. And this is the Blue Lagoon over here. But this is a setting taken from a table I was sitting at enjoying my beach barbecue. Again, this is the beautiful Blue Lagoon on the island of Rangiroa. Look at that. Then we head back on Rangiroa. We go to the aquarium. And this is the ship excursions usually go out here to the aquarium and not much else. Sometimes I'll make a run over to the Green Lagoon. But in this case, most of the people, all they get to see is the aquarium. And again, not only do we get to go out to the Blue Lagoon and have a beautiful day out there and a nice barbecue lunch again with all the trimmings, the beer and the rum punch and everything else. But we come back, before we go back to the ship, and yes, that is the Paul Gauguin in the background right there, we enjoy the aquarium on the island of Rangiroa. Then we go to Moorea, and look at that. This is taken in beautiful, let's see, this is Opunupu Bay. I think Opunupu Bay. And look at that. Just stunning. Moorea is a beautiful island. Love the jagged peaks. And again, looking at another part of the bay and so forth. Just beautiful. Then we go with our vendor. We go up to the Belvedere. We also end up with a 4x4. We go up to Magic Mountain, and this is part of my group again right here. And yes, this is taken with my drone because I am right there controlling my drone. And we go up there. Usually the Paul Gauguin is sitting here, right here. In this case, there was another big ship coming in. So the captain took us over to Cook's Bay. So the ship wasn't sitting here. But usually it's sitting here so you can get yourself your picture with the ship in the background in on Otumano Bay. No, Opunupu Bay. Sorry about that. And again, up to the Belvedere, and look at that. Beautiful. Yes, I took this again with my drone. Look at that. Just love it. Cook's Bay, Opunupu Bay. Then we have a cocktail party, of course, and the captain comes up, and look how cash he is and everything else. And everyone gets their opportunity to get their pictures taken with the captain. Look at that. Everyone having a great time at our cocktail party while we're visiting Moorea. I usually pick Moorea because it's the last island we do before we go back to Tahiti and have to get off the ship. So it's a wonderful time to utilize this and have the cocktail party, answer questions, and of course, a lot of the staff for the Paul Gauguin, including the captain, come up for those picture opportunities. And then we go down and have Polynesian night here at Moorea. And these are the mamas, and they are doing flower arrangements for leis and headpieces, and everyone gets one, a headpiece or a lei, and you can make your own, Here's people making their own and so forth. And of course, the mamas making some for everyone else. Look at that. This is taken on the island of Moorea, just so you can know. And my good friend Kristen took this picture right here. And this is taken at Les Tipene. And it's a beautiful sunset. Look at that. And here's the Paul Gauguin sitting in the bay again, looking at those jagged peaks of Moorea. Beautiful. And here's the Gauguins and Gauguins again. And this is during the raffle, the welfare auction chart. They do these charts, and one of the people on board the Paul Gauguin, usually one of the Gauguins here, they do the artwork here. And it's just beautiful and gorgeous. And this is raffled off, and it goes into the Cruise Welfare Fund. So if there's an emergency back home, maybe there's a death in the family of one of the crew members, the money comes out of the crew fund to get them a ticket to go back and see their family. You get the idea. So it's a good thing to buy raffle tickets. And here's the flyer for this particular one. This is May 29th of 2027. Here's the itinerary right here. What's included, the starting price, and again, some onboard credit, just like before. Everything's included, remember. So you got your cruise, you got all your bar tab, the Wi-Fi's included, the gratuities are included. Everything's included here. Not your airfare and things like that, but everything as far as the deal with the Paul Gauguin, everything is inclusive. Lovely. Page 2. And again, it's showing 6 different private excursions I have planned for this particular cruise. Wahine, Raiatea, Bora Bora, Fakarava, Rangiroa, and Moorea. And this is a little bit of what it includes and everything else. Again, some wonderful, wonderful private excursions. Again, you can do one, you can do them all, or you can do none at all. It's up to you. Again, I just offer them. But again, these are all tried and true. And believe me, I've taken a lot of the vendors, so I know some of the very best ones for you to enjoy. And I think that's the end of this show here and so forth. And so I'm going to close this off, and I'm going to make me, there we go. So hopefully you enjoyed today's little presentation again. Again, no questions. Unbelievable. Can't believe it that there was no questions there. And but hopefully, again, some of you will join me at the first Saturday in May at 8 a.m. Pacific time to ask your questions and things. Remember, you can also ask questions beforehand. Usually I'll have a link there that you can email me your questions if you don't want to wait until the show. If it's a lot of times I prefer it that way because it gives me a chance to actually, why am I doing that? You know, I don't need to shoe. Well, that's right. Here, just let me put something up in the background. There we go. So anyhow, I love to answer your questions again. I'm on Cruise Critic as the Tahitian Big Kahuna. I'm also on TripAdvisor, and I answer questions there as well. But again, this is where I prefer doing it because I'm prepared for it, and I can answer a lot of things that I cannot answer, like on some of the sites. I cannot mention certain things. I can't mention like my private excursions or my groups. You know, that's not allowed. But I do answer general questions that come up there on Cruise Critic and, of course, TripAdvisor. But anyhow, hopefully I will see some of you back in May. And again, you know, I have a beautiful site, Cruising French Polynesia, on Facebook. And you can go there and ask to join. And I put new stuff up every day. And then, of course, I have another smaller, very private Facebook group where I'm giving lots of detailed information for people that are signed up or for a group cruise, or they've purchased their individual cruise to French Polynesia. I give them access to my very private info, which is giving a ton of information and details. So anyhow, enough said. You all have a wonderful weekend. And hopefully, again, I'll see some of you